Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast, presents episode 537, Remembering Reach, recorded live on May 5th, 2016. Hello everyone, welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I'm your host, Duststorm.
And I'm your co-host, Godzilla T.
And we are back on the live stream this week. Last week we took a little bit of a break, but we got through another campaign mission. And today we're hoping to get through the rest of the campaign so we can actually start discussing lore, get back to some of the books that we haven't covered yet, get to the comics, which we haven't even touched on yet. We haven't even touched, well, I know we haven't touched Escalation. I don't even think we've really covered Initiation all that much either. So there's lots of things to discuss after we get through the campaign stuff, so hopefully we get through that tonight. And then we also have a lot of news about the Memories of Reach update, which is supposed to be coming out this month, including some things that got released a little bit earlier this week and some stuff that we didn't get a chance to cover last week as well. So lots of cool little tidbits of updates coming with Halo 5, and then there's some really, really cool community stuff going on as well. And it's, I mean, the Forge is just insane for Halo and all the different crazy clips that we're getting. And now that we have the file share working, there's lots of cool things coming out with that. So it's a lot of cool content for Halo, which is awesome to see. We are BioList tonight. Hopefully he'll be on next week. At least that's the plan. And we're going to, I think, just go ahead and hop straight into some of the update stuff for the Memories of Reach. So we actually got an article from GameSpot, I believe, yesterday. And we have pretty much every single member of Noble Team has an armor set that we're going to be getting in the Memories of Reach update, which is pretty cool. I think it was pretty much assumed that that's what was going to happen, but it's kind of cool to see this is actually something that's going to be happening. So lots of cool things there. We're getting George's armors, we're getting Cat's armors, Noble's. I think we're getting all the armor except Noble 6, or at least that's what they covered in the GameSpot article. So that's still quite a bit of armor customization right there.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the George armor. That's what my avatar's rocking right now. Well, it's not as bulky as it was on George, but
true, very true. But still,
the Spartan 4s just don't have the meat of the Spartan 2s.
George is a big dude.
Unlike some people that I've seen on the Twitters, I'm actually kind of pumped to get George's machine gun. I do hope that it has like a extra speed boost, or it gives you an extra damage boost, or an overshield, something.
Yeah, it would be nice to see it be more than just a simple turret, and I'm guessing it's going to have to be because it's George's turret. So just like the Nornfang, which is supposed to be
Linda's sniper rifle,
which is a legendary. I would assume that this turret is going to be a legendary of some kind. I wouldn't be surprised if it was some kind of like, so you know the Oni chain gun hog?
Yeah.
Take that turret and maybe be it something of that kind of effectiveness in a turret.
Yeah.
And would be my guess. And yeah, I think it would have to be movement speed, have a speed boost on it, just because I have seen quite a bit of comments mentioning the fact that a lot of people don't use turrets because they are slow. Thank you, Spartan Sonic, for the sub.
Hey!
Appreciate it, man. Which you might start seeing more of him around here more often.
Ooh.
Hint, hint. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Yeah, we might have more news on that next week.
Crota! You're on the wrong
Cortana?
podcast.
No.
Oh, sorry,
Cortana.
the mic's in the way. Sorry. Like, what the? Wait a minute.
Is that like Cortana and Daytona mixed together?
Yeah, there you go.
Cortona?
She's really fast. Oh. I could take that in so many ways, but I won't.
Faster rampancy? Heyo.
I was gonna say fast.
I took it the safe route.
Hey.
I took it the safe route.
Safe and nuts. Back on subject.
Wow. We really just went there.
Yeah, we did. Sorry, I tried. I couldn't resist.
Oh my goodness.
George's
turret.
I'm really hoping that it is a legendary. item that is, requires rec level 7 or 8. Because most of the turrets, I think the Oni turret you can pick up at level 4, which it is a beast with its exploding rounds. Someone that can, if you have cover that you can duck in and out of, you can do a lot of damage with it. And occasionally I'll get people that'll bring, especially on Spire, they'll bring turrets up, and of course they'll die really quick. But I'll pick them up and
Spire.
Yeah, on the Spire.
Okay, yeah.
They'll bring they'll bring the turret up there, but they'll get killed. Well, what I'll do is I'll grab it and I'll take it back to the ramps where I can duck in and out on either side, and it becomes really effective because I've got cover right there. That's the one drawback with turrets, is that you need to have cover close by because you don't move that fast and you're just an easy target.
Agreed. One of the things I like about the turrets, though, is that they do a considerable amount of damage to vehicles. And I usually call them in whenever there's vehicles pretty close to a base that you have control of. So there's been times where when they've pushed in and are kind of assaulting your core room, I'll pull out a turret and just kind of stand in the back and shoot the turret. And, well, I guess I use it more in assault because you're kind of defending off that last possible wave.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, there are a few times where if there's vehicles, and I guess Escape on Arc is kind of the one that comes to mind for using it, because you can spawn in the garage and vehicles are pretty much surrounding there if it's a vehicle heavy match for some reason, and you can find a few different cubby holes to just kind of stand in and just lay down fire. Now, the plasma turret, I think, is probably one of the crappiest weapons in the sandbox of weapons that are available. And
everyone I get, I sell.
I've done the same thing, and the splinter turret.
The splinter turret is handy, but it does have some serious drawbacks.
It's good for like blocking people coming in through doors, I feel.
Well, it's pretty much one hit kill in most cases. So, but
if it's a direct hit,
yeah, if it's a direct hit, it's just getting that hit. It's hard to do. It's relatively decent against vehicles, but if you laid 3 turrets out, I'm going to just pick up the regular turret.
Me too. So, but we'll see what we get with the turret for George. I'm assuming it's going to be a legendary. I'm assuming there's going to be kind of some souped up power, whether it is going to be speed boost, damage boost, or whatever. I think they have to make it a high rec level to be a legendary, especially if they're going to be including it. So that'll be pretty nice to have in there. And then we have all the armor sets for everyone else, of course. George, June, Carter, Kat, and Emil. I will probably keep my Mark 6, but all the armors look pretty well represented. I think the closest one that matches is Carter's, just because Carter had the most, not necessarily simplest, but the one that closely resembles the normal quote unquote armor for Halo. The
standard Mjolnir.
Yeah.
It wasn't highly modified like Emil's or George's or Kat's.
Correct.
June's is pretty close.
Yeah, that would be the next one I would think that's pretty close. But if you look at George's, the proportions compared to George and Reach is obviously not the same. Kat's is pretty close, although it looks a little more bulky. I think probably in the pictures that I'm looking at on GameSpot, probably because it's the male model versus the female model.
Probably.
Emil looks pretty close, although for some reason it looks just a tad bit more bulky than Emil's armor did in Reach. But that's just me.
Well, Emil, all the other Spartans in Noble Team were smaller than what we're used to as far as in the game.
Right.
Especially compared to George, where George was like a foot taller than all of them.
Well, he was a legit Spartan too.
Yeah, he was a Spartan too. But with this kind of gets into the lore. With the Spartan 4s, I think they're going back to the taller, broader standard with their Spartans, especially after we got the book with Buck. And I can't draw on the blank on the name. But
New Blood.
New Blood. I should know that. I was just playing Halo Wars. Anyway. In New Blood, the way they described it, it sounded like they were going back and augmenting, the Spartans to be almost 7 feet tall.
Right. And for the Spartan 3s, I don't think they were quite as augmented physically.
Well, they had augmented strength.
They did.
And I think they still got the reinforced bones.
Yeah.
But I don't think they really, because the way they described the Spartan 3s, they were varying heights.
Right. Well, even the Spartan 2s were varying heights, but they were still towering.
Yeah, but the average Spartan 2, they were a lot closer in heights. Like Laird just said, George was 2 inches taller than Master Chief. But in compared to a Spartan 3, he'd be like a foot taller. Because I think Mark was the tallest one that they mentioned. I think he was only like 6'4".
I'd have to go back and check.
Yeah, I'd have to dig in on Waypoint and look up the bios on the different Spartans to know for sure. But it's just the way they describe the Spartan 3s in the books. They seem to be smaller than the Spartan 2s, and then the Spartan 4s seem to be just kind of a middle ground between the two.
Right. So going on to the names for the Noble Team armor, we have Indomitable, which is George's armor. The helmet description: the Indomitable helmet is a rare sight on the battlefield and is usually a sign the UNSC has authorized weapons of mass destruction. For the armor description: created to save lives and not to take them, the Indomitable is an engineering and explosives ordnance disposal Mjolnir variant. Its combat effectiveness is simply fortuitous. Then we have Wrath, which is Emil's. The helmet description is: the Spartan branch contract for Wrath helmets was extremely precise and prescriptive regarding the pattern and method of reproduction for the Death's Head engraving. As for the armor, formerly an upgrade of an existing Mark V EVA suit, the Wrath project was actually covered to develop a new Mjolnir variant specifically tailored to the needs of future Headhunter teams. And then we have Vigilant, which is June's. The full extent of the Vigilance surveillance and stealth capabilities remain highly classified. Observers have speculated the suit includes a new reconnaissance and fire control system for directing orbital artillery strikes. The armor description: the Vigilant was originally a one-off upgrade for an unnamed VIP within Spartan branch. Wonder who that is. Not intended for production, interest in the suit's feature set among Spartan Scout snipers has led to several being assembled for full evaluation. And then Cats is called Intruder. For the helmet, the Intruder helmet features a full-featured command network module and multi-channel drone controller. The drone controller interfaces directly with the Unified Ground Command, or Unicom, kill box management, and aerospace deconfliction systems. As for the armor, the Intruder armor was commissioned by Spartan Branch as part of a research initiative seeking to leverage the synergistic outcomes between specialized Mjolnir suits. So that leaves out Carter's armor, which I guess Carter's armor, is it already in the game?
Or if
there something else?
I think so, or something similar to Carter's armor.
That's probably why. Yeah, that's probably why. If someone knows, Erkibu or Laird or whoever, someone knows what the armor that's currently in there is called, that's supposed to be Carter's, shout it out, por favor. Noble armor. Oh, it is? Oh, I would have thought noble armor would be like Noble 6, but okay.
So if I remember right, the standard Noble 6 armor that you first spawn in with is really similar to Carter's. So I think those two are pretty much the same armor.
Just
Carter's has a little bit, it has a little different headgear on it, but that's it.
So it could be like a Noble variant that's in the game. Got it. Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, we have 4 new armor that are inspired by Halo Reach, which is awesome. Also inspired by Reach, we have the Infection game mode that will be coming with the Memories of Reach update. They've actually posted quite a few little teases on Waypoint already, including a little graphic that has some new forge pieces like dead bodies and skulls and Infection insignias and new forge pieces to be added in there as well. Lots of cool little things in there to be added. And we talked a little bit about some forge pieces from last week as well, having different gates and bars and other things that could be forged in there. With the preview post that they have on Waypoint 2, they also put some medals that you're going to be seeing in for the Infection game mode. And then whenever they come out with the playlist, they also have that in there as well. But for the game mode specifically, Infection is going to be a total of 12 players with 4 rounds each. Round time limit is going to be default 3 minutes each. The custom game option is going to be Last Squad Standing. That's going to be the name. Spartans have all Spartans' abilities, and the Infected have Thrust, Smart Scope, and Stabilize. As for the new medals, we have Zombie Hunter, Zombie Slayer, Hell's Janitor, Hell's Jumper, Zombicide, and the Cure. Those look like kill streaks for the zombies.
Yeah, that's what those are.
So based on those, and then they have custom kill streak ones as well. So Infector looks like a double kill on Spartans. Carrier is triple kill. Ravager is a overkill. Plague Bearer is a kill to hack, and Lord of the Flies is a kill catastrophe. Kill sprees, yeah. Thanks, Eric Boo. Whatever 6 is. Podtacular, kill.
Well, those are multi-kills.
Yeah.
No, what you're saying are multi-kills.
Right. Whatever they're called.
Anyway.
Yeah, so multi-kills on the Spartans, and then the other ones were kill streaks. Then there's also Last Man Standing, which we've seen from Infection in the past. Infected, Ancient One, Survived, Resourceful, Stalker, and Flatline. So the only one that I'm not quite sure of what it's going to be is Flatline. Unless that's like use suicide.
I don't think they give medals for suicide, do they?
I mean, what else would you consider Flatline? I mean, I can figure out what the rest of them are, but Flatline is...
I'm sure we're going to find out here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, definitely will. Judging by the fact that we don't have an update on when the stream is going to be, I have a feeling it will be no earlier than the week of the 15th of May. So, the second part of May is probably when we're going to see this update, would be my guess. We have a few other REQs that are going to be included as well. We'll get to the new map here in a minute, but we have the Brute Plasma Rifle, which is officially coming back now. So for everyone who saw the first Warzone firefight screenshot that they put out whenever they were announcing it, they posted a picture and someone found that there was a Brute Plasma Rifle laying on the ground, and now we're finally actually getting it as part of the update. But it kind of makes me wonder, where's the regular Plasma Rifle?
I don't know. It depends on how they introduce the Brute Plasma Rifle, at what level. Have we seen the level
uncommon,
on it?
Well, it's an uncommon, so I have to assume
uncommon. Maybe they're going to introduce the
level.
Regular plasma pistol or plasma rifle as a common.
It would. I mean, I would assume that it's going to be. I don't know. Well, this is just me. Maybe there is a reason for them, but I don't know why they would just include the Brute Plasma Rifle only if they're not going to include just the normal plasma rifle. That'd just be me. So that's coming back. We also have a emblem for Emil and George. George's has the little turret on there along with his Spartan number. And then Emil's obviously has the skull face on it, which is pretty cool. We have a whole new set of primary weapon skins. We have blue team skins for the AR and the pistol. We have noble skins for the AR and the pistol. And then for all of the loadout weapons, we have Azure Dream, which is a nice little kind of blue and white wedge shape with kind of teal highlights on them. And then also for the AR and pistol, we have quite a few other ones here too. We have ODST, Osiris Team, Sharktooth Grin, Spirit of Fire, and UNSC. So all those fire teams are getting their own weapons. I can see this actually being very useful for Machinima too. If you wanted to have squads, you have all these insignias on weapons to kind of help differentiate. That'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd give it a little bit more customization to the individual actors in the machinimas.
Yeah.
Or groups of actors.
I actually like a lot of these.
The only problem is with these weapon skins is it's random luck unlock.
True. Very true. Unless you're already up there and have a lot of them unlocked. Like
Eric
people that are like Eric who already have everything unlocked because he's freaking level 146. What level are you at now, Eric Boo, by the way? Since you're in here, because he's like probably one of I would venture a guess that Eric Boo is probably at least in the top maybe 10 or 25 of top Spartan ranked players on Halo.
So did you see what Unicheck posted on Twitter the other day?
Yeah, it's 145.
Yeah.
Erkibu is 148.
Wish I could sit around and play Halo all day.
148. Wow. One day, probably in a year. I just got to level 98 this week.
I'm at like 70 something. 78, I think.
Wait, Erkibu, there's someone who's actually 152? Someone's maxed out?
Wow.
What? Waypoint better be posting that because that's the first 152 that I've heard of. Waypoint better post that on their next community update saying whoever it is that got the first 152. Wow. That's amazing. If you can link that, Erkibu, I'd like to actually post that on Podtacular as well. Oh, it wasn't legit? Oh, man. Well, no, if Erkibu said that he played with somebody, like actually playing with somebody that is a 152, then that's, I think, pretty legit. Unless there's a way to hack a rank into Halo, which I don't think is quite as possible.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not Beowulf.
Link to the game, like from your game history. Pursuant reflex. Huh. All right. Had to look into that one. Okay. Anyways, yeah, that'll be something to check out later. Yeah, thanks, Spartan. For those who are listening to us download, we do the show live on Twitch, which is why we're kind of. It sounds like we're talking to people, and you might not be hearing them. So yeah, welcome to that.
We were talking to the chat.
Yeah, so we're talking to the chat. Amongst the other Recs that we have a couple new visors. Actually, just one new visor. I take that back. Royal, which is kind of a pinkish with a purple tint type of thing. And we also have a new armor mod, which unfortunately is grayed out, so we don't know what that one is. We have a couple other stances. It looks like we have, we have one stance that's visible. The other stance, I think, is hidden. Brutalist, which actually has the plasma rifle in there. Then there is a few new emblems as well. Anti-Dot, which I have a feeling is going to be an animated emblem.
That would be cool.
Well, just because think of Anti-Dot from Halo Reach, the little loading thing. That would make sense that would be animated.
Oh, God, that's... Please.
Yes, yeah. So we have that one. Then we have Drone, which has little kind of clip art painting of the drones from Halo. You've probably seen the artwork before, but it's just like the little drones. Then we have the number 10. We also have another... did I say that we already had an armor mod in this grayed out? If I didn't, there's an armor mod that's grayed out. We also have a couple of weapon mods. There is looks like it's a new kind of laser sight for the AR and BR and SMG and DMR. Because I know we had a laser sight already, but there's some... Maybe there's some a more
accurate one.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this is supposed to symbolize. If anyone in the chat knows, looks like it's a tracker. That was my other thought. Like maybe kind of homing in. Like if you're shooting within the reticle, then it'll kind of auto adjust the spread within the reticle to hit the target. That's kind of what my second guess is. So, but yeah, there's that, and there's what I'm guessing up top. There's a blurred out legendary, which I'm guessing that's going to be Emil's turret, and then they also have a legendary
George's
something or other.
Turret?
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, George's turret, and then there's something else that they have just an Oni symbol over at the very top.
Don't you love that?
Well, I mean, it's a new way to kind of hide something instead of just blurring it out. I think it's pretty clever.
I think it's cool because it plays into the Halo universe.
Yeah, I think it's cool. So that is it from the rec side of the house. We also have a new map, Stasis, which is the reimagining of Torque. And it's basically the space station has crashed and is now down on some... it's kind of frozen over with ice and everything. And up on the latest issue of Cannon Fodder, Jeff has a little entry on there about the map. And it's basically after Cortana took over and AIs joined their side, the space station crashed into a planet, and that's kind of where you're fighting now.
The AIs unleashed something that their meager force fields couldn't contain.
Yeah. So that is going to be the new map that we get for this update. Another arena map map, which should be fun. And I believe that is pretty much it. There's some weapon tuning that's going to be coming out with this update as well. They have a little piece in here from some of the data engineers and weapon designers talking about damage per weapon use and kind of using that to evaluate the effectiveness and how much weapons are being used. And they've actually found some pretty interesting results. One of which is for all the different levels of fuel rods. You have the fuel rod cannon, which is your base fuel rod cannon. Then you have the light of Urs. And then you have the pool of radiance at the top. And it turns out that pool of radiance is far less used than either of the other two fuel rods in terms of kills, which is not kind of how it's intended. So they're looking at that kind of data to reevaluate how to balance some of the weapons. So we're going to get Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, because it sucks.
Yeah.
That thing, I don't even use it. I've gotten a couple of them. I used it once, and you shoot somebody with it, and they just kind of walk through it. It's like the regular fuel rod does better than this. It's slow to fire. This thing's supposed to be this massively overpowered fuel rod cannon, but nope.
Yeah.
But looking at what they've done in here, it looks like they're going to make some good changes.
Definitely. And not just to the fuel rod. Actually, they didn't mention in here specific updates to the fuel rod, but there are a lot of other updates. The big updates that are going to be happening are to the plasma caster and the Hydra launcher. So in the Memories of Reach update, the cluster grenades are going to be more effective. The charge shot that if you hold the plasma caster, it's going to have less of an arc, so it's going to shoot out more straight. And then the regular grenade will explode slightly faster after bouncing. And then for the Hydra, recoil has been reduced. Rocket splash damage radius is increased. Thank you. That was needed from the very start. I could tell that needed to happen during the beta.
Yeah, same here.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
and
unless
Fiesta
you got direct
brings
hit.
at the light.
Oh, yes, it does.
Brings at the light so well, because it seems like every other spawn I'd get a Hydra. But yeah, I unload a clip at the guy's feet, and I barely knock his shields off.
Yeah, and you can take a direct hit from one of those. I mean, it's 2 direct hits to kill, but the splash damage on the Hydra was so weak. Just so weak. And among those two things, we also have, for the Typhoon variant, you can lock onto 3 enemies at one time. In Bravo's words, for extra coolness.
I've got some Typhoon saved up. I'm ready to try it.
Nice. Yeah, Eric Yabu, I'm a huge fan of the Plasma Caster. And I know I've said this on the podcast before, but I've always been kind of a fan of the newer weapons. So whenever they introduced the Spartan Laser in Halo 3, I really like that weapon. In Halo Reach, I really like the grenade launcher. In Halo 4, I really like the railgun. And then in Halo 5, I really like the Plasma Caster. Plasma Caster.
Where's Mending when you need him?
I know, right? So there's a couple other updates to weapon balancing as well. The Plasma Caster default is going to have some stuff update to it. The White Scar, Scorch of Fire. Well, should I just read through these? I mean, people can just look at it. There's a lot of weapon balances here. I'll go ahead and read them. At least the ones that have are pretty quick. Like the Plasma Caster default, I think, is kind of the biggest change, and it has 5 different things here. So, reduced non-charge timer from 0.5 to 0.3 seconds. Sticky grenades have less arc. Sticky grenade detonation is now more damaging versus vehicles, but less damaging versus bipeds.
Spartans.
But that's a weird way to just say it. It's just
yeah.
Okay.
Well, they wanted to include, because I think this is going to be across the board. It's going to be less damaging to AI, Prometheans, Covenant, that as well as Spartans. So it was just easier to say bipeds.
Fair enough. But they still will kill in one hit when they're stuck, just like a grenade. Sticky grenade, submunition damage variable. So splash damage is greater. And then the area of effect is bigger. So damage is bigger and effect range is bigger. For the White Scar, the needles have improved aim towards nearby targets. For the Scourge of Fire, The sticky shot now has 7 sub-munitions instead of 5. Oh, the sub-munitions are the little things that pop out. That's what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
On a charge shot, yeah.
Right. Hydro launcher, we already covered, but in details, reduced recoil from the hip, increased area of effect radius from 0.04 to 0.08 units, increased impact damage to be more effective against vehicles. Still 2 rockets to kill a Spartan. For the Typhoon, enabled multi-lock to 3 targets, increased impact damage. Scatter shot for the loathsome thing, increased number of hard light projectiles to be the same as a normal scatter shot. So instead of 5, it's going to be up to 8. For the High 5, which is a rocket launcher, increased area of effect radius on cluster rockets. Twin Joules of Maithrillion, reduce recoil, and have 2 place the twin projectiles a bit closer together for easier biped targeting.
Which is a big bonus.
Yeah, so in Super Fiesta, that was the first time I really had a chance to use the Twin Joules, and those beams were so wide together that I just had no idea how to...
Yeah, you can't use it as a sniper rifle because at sniper rifle distance, you only have one beam hitting the Spartan. And it's no real benefit over the standard rifle or standard binary rifle. Yeah. Actually, I think the standard binary rifle actually hits harder.
Right. So this is a good update. I have to point out really quick in the chat because this is just something funny. Spartan Sonic just said that everyone's hoping that the Oni symbol is covering the forklift wreck. Which would be awesome if they brought the forklift back just to have it in there. Oh, that would be crazy. That would be
hilarious.
That would be
Drive
hilarious.
Up behind the tank, pick it up, flip it over.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that would be. Well, have it like rocket boosted forklift. So if you do come behind somebody, you lift up and you just like shoot the whatever vehicle up. Oh, that would be insane. That'd be crazy. And thanks, Griffith, for the 6-month subscription. You rock. Thanks. So yeah, hi to Griffith in there. We also have... Oops, I didn't want to click that. That was dumb.
Don't click that.
Yeah, I'm back. For the Reign of Oblivion, which is the Covenant Carbine, there's reduced recoil and increased zoom magnification. Incineration Cannon, River of Light. Added slight homing to charge shot to hit multiple bipeds easier. For the Heat Seeker, added proximity detonation to a charged shot to make it more effective against airborne targets or targets behind cover.
That thing was already pretty beastly.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
That Heat Seeker, I tell you what, I got it in Fiesta, and I've used it in Warzone as well. But I went on a rampage with that thing.
Yeah. Unity needs to take the technology from that Heat Seeker targeting and put it to the Hydra.
That thing, you just pull the trigger. All you have to do is have the reticle on them. And you don't have to be zoomed in. And it will track them. I mean, granted, it won't go around corners and stuff. But if you're reasonably close and it gets there before they can get behind cover, they're dead. It's the only, its only real drawback is just rate of fire. Which you don't want that to have a real high rate of fire anyway.
Right, because it's just a beast of a weapon to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Fuel Rod Cannon, Pool of Radiance, fixed a damage bug, was not causing area of effect damage on initial explosion, and made the projectile thicker. For the Talon of the Lost Needler, reduced Super Combine count to the same as a normal Needler. Needles have longer lifetime to more easily Super Combine against difficult to hit targets. So 8 seconds instead of 4 seconds. And for the Celine's Lance, which is a Spartan laser, reduced recoil and made the beam thicker.
I don't run them, so I don't do Spartan lasers, so I can't tell either way on that one.
I burned through so many Spartan lasers during Warzone Firefight that I only have 4 left. I'm kind of sad. That's all the stuff coming with the Memories of Reach update that we have so far in terms of information. I'm hoping that we'll get to see some kind of stream next week, judging by how much information that's already out there. If not, I would assume definitely by the week after we'll have a stream up about this.
Definitely. Look forward to seeing it.
Right. Going off of the community update from last week, there's a new montage out by Snipetality. It's for Spartan, who is one of the pro players. So definitely go on over and check that out. Snipetality is arguably one of, if not the best Halo montage maker out there. Between him and Hastings, I think there's no better combination right now in terms of montage makers.
Well, I definitely enjoy his videos.
According to Spartan Sonic, the stream is supposed to be early next week. So we might get the update next week. That'd be crazy. Infection. Okay, here's here's our goal. If we do, whenever we get the update, we need to recreate speed. We need to do it.
Get to building the map now and then apply the game type when it launches.
Heck, if anyone wants to come play speed after the podcast, I'll hop on some Reach and play speed for 30 minutes or an hour.
Or 2.
Yeah. That'd be so much fun. Oh gosh. It'd be great. So in addition to the montage that's up there, there's also a couple of highlights from maps. Beaver Creek is one of them, which obviously is a remake of Beaver Creek. And there's also one called Brutalist, which kind of reminds me a little bit of Assassin's Creed and the Artemis. Did you play Assassin's Creed at all?
I'll have to take your word for that one.
Okay. Anyone in the chat, does it kind of make sense? Maybe? I don't know. Anyways, if someone agrees with me, let me know. And they actually included file browser links because we have the file browser. Yay!
Yay!
So anyone who wasn't here last week or hasn't figured it out yet, we have a file browser on Waypoint. Yay! It's not on the game and on console, but it's on the website, which is, I think, honestly where it needs to be focused. So yeah, that will be great. So that's it for the update side of the house. There's a couple of other things I wanted to touch on before we hit the campaign. First is the HCS Pro League. So we have our first 2 teams already in there for the American Pro League. The first one being CLG, the winners of the Halo World Championship. And then the second one is their rivals, EG, who competed and got first place in the PAX East Invitational. So those are the 2 teams that are guaranteed to be in the Pro League. And this weekend is going to be an online invitational qualifier. And there are 8 teams competing. From the 8 teams, there will be split up into 2 groups. And the top performers from each of those groups will be invited to the Pro League. Gameplay starts at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, May 8th, which will be 12 noon Pacific Time. And the teams are for Group A, Enigma, Optic Gaming, Renegades, and Denial Esports. And then for Group B, it's going to be Allegiance, Team Liquid, Team Envious, and Soul Red, which I haven't heard of Soul Red, so I'm guessing that's a rebuild of some team that got dissolved, or a group of...
Possibly.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyways, Strong Side, Golden Boy, and Gaskin will be doing the commentary for that over on the Halo Twitch channel. So make sure you check that out. There's also the European HCS Pro League, which will be taking place pretty soon. Or is it actually on... No, it's going to be on May 8th as well. And the teams there are Deception, Online Warriors, Movement, Pulse Gaming, X-Men, the Dinosaurs, Vitality, and Penta Sports. So Deception has Doodle, Bashford, Warlord, and Flux. You may recognize some of those. Online Warriors is Snaky, Moose, Kimbo, and Respectful. Movement is Lunny, Flames, Vexus, and Cristola. Pulse Gaming is Solar, CXLII, SLG, and Crystallix. X-Men is 2 Foxy, Jimbo, Snipe Drone, and Chalky. The Dinosaurs are Buck 20, Buck 57, the Buck Twins, Ramirez, and Riots. Vitality is H-Borg, Puni, Talik, and FragXR. And Pentasports is Septic, Anima, Mintlan, and Alpha. So, judging by that, if you guys had followed from some of our previous podcasts and during the World Championship, Epsilon Esports was the European team that actually made it into the top 8, and that team actually disbanded, believe it or not, which kind of sucks. Yeah. So the X-Men team got 2 of those members, and the Dinosaurs got 2 of those members. So the Buck Twins stayed together, and they're on the Dinosaurs, and then it was Jimbo and Snipe Drone that went on to X-Men.
Well, I mean, in your interview with the Australian team, they were commenting on how much they'd learned just by being in the States for the month previous to the competition, playing against these teams. So I can see where they would want to split up and play with American players more. But I don't know.
I'm just to me, it just kind of sucked to see that the European team that did place into the top 8 just split. It's just kind of sad.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure they have their reasons. It just sucks. So Spartan in the chat was able to post the roster for Soul Red, and it's made up of Munoz, King Nick, Juicy Fruit, and Gabriel. I really only know of Munoz from the name. So that is going to be it for the HCS Pro League stuff that's happening. And then there's going to be an online open tournament as well a little bit later in the month. So if you are looking to make your way into the Halo Championship Series, there will be that opportunity down the road. 243 is just kind of giving the pro teams that are more well established a chance to get in on the action first. But if you have a team that you want to try to get in, competition is very high, at least in the Americas, or at least in the US. Other places, you still have quite a bit to get into, but I know it's the US, there's a European Pro League, and then I think there might be an Australian Pro League. There's 3 regions that were confirmed. I know Europe and the US had 2. I think Australian was a 3rd, or that one might have been in flux. Okay, I'll call you Sonic. Wow. So that is the update on the HCS Pro League. Then there's been some pretty cool stuff coming out on Reddit over the past few days, and one of which is there's Pokemon in Halo. Have you seen this, GT?
Yes, it's all over YouTube, and it's been all over Twitter.
It's so awesome. I love it. So there's someone who made a map and made a little Pokemon at it. There's a Gyarados, Magikarp, Diglett, Pikachu, and Caterpie on the map that you have a little camera fly through.
Charizard was on there too.
All right, I'm getting there. And then you can battle with one of 3 Pokemon. So it's basically like a Pokemon version of Rock, Paper, Scissors made in Halo. So you spawn in, you have one of 3 switches in front of you that are color-coded. So if you pick blue, you're going to choose Blastoise. If you pick green, you're going to have Venusaur. And if you choose red, you're going to have Charizard. And the thing is that you're supposed to hit your button, and then once both of you have selected your Pokemon, obviously grass beats water, water beats fire, fire beats grass. So it's basically just rock, paper, scissors in that sense. And whichever Pokemon wins, the person who called out that Pokemon gets a weapon spawned in front of them, and then they shoot the other Spartan, and that's how you score. If you end up choosing the same Pokemon, both players spawn with weapons, and then it's whoever shoots the other and kills the other person first. And another thing that they did in there as well is there's actually a little animation between the 2 Pokemon fighting. So if you have Charizard, there's going to be fire. If you have Blastoise, there's going to be kind of like water being sprayed to the other Pokemon. It's really cool. It's crazy that they were able to do this in the first place, but it is simply just amazing.
Yeah, when you both players select their Pokemon, there's a wall in front of you to block so you can't see what the other player's doing. But after that wall drops, you see 2 Pokeballs come flying in, and then the Pokemon spawn in. So it's kind of neat. Whoever the gentleman that took care of it, or lady, whoever it is, I don't know the creator's name, put a lot of work into it, and they've got some amazing scripting work that they've done.
The scripting engine in Halo 5 is just insane.
I would like to compare the scripting in that game type to Pete the Duck's Rochambeau, just to see if it is as complicated as it is in his Rochambeau game.
I would almost think it has to be more.
I mean, I meant other than the extra stuff like the Pokeballs falling. I mean, just the selection part.
I don't know. It's just amazing. And the creator is Captain Direwolf.
Well, good job.
Yeah, there you go. It's great. And we're only scratching the tip of the iceberg. We've only had Forge out here for 5 months.
Yeah, I knew when they launched Forge I'd be amazed at what these forgers can do, but what they're doing with the scripting engine so far, oh my lord. I can't wait to see what they're doing next year after they have a full year with it. With all the Forge updates that 343 has got planned just in the next 12 months.
The things people can do in Forge that I will never be able to do. I can only hope in being able to learn how to do.
I'm right there with you.
Jeez, gosh.
I go into Forge to throw tanks around. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. But yeah, check it out if you haven't already. I'll try to get a link to the file share thing up with this. Because I actually want to write a post about it, so I'm going to see if I can get the link up there for you guys to go download. And it's basically like a glorified rock, paper, scissors, but it's still fantastic. It looks amazing. So, anyways, just kind of want to throw that one in there because it's a big thing that's kind of stirred the community up recently, which is good. So, to campaign. I actually managed to play through the last 3 missions today before this, so I have a little bit better recollection of what actually happened. So let's just go ahead and jump on into it. So we just finished up with Battle of Sunayon, which was mission number 12, so we're on mission 13. We might not get through all of them tonight because we're already an hour into the podcast now, or just about an hour, but we'll at least get through, or try to get through the next 2 here. So mission 13 is Genesis. This is where Fireteam Osiris finally gets to the Genesis installation on one of the Guardians that Halsey managed to activate through one of the constructors. And we get to learn a little bit about the installation thanks to a little AI companion that we'll meet here in just a little bit. But starting off, you are Fireteam Osiris. You are standing on the edge of one of the Guardians, and it's basically trying to shake you off.
It's not trying. You are falling down the Guardian. Pretty
much. But it still is like trying to take you off. But yeah, so you start falling. Locke tells everybody to activate their grav boots, or mag boots, sorry. So they can basically walk down the front of the Guardian, which is it's a very interesting viewpoint that they have in here. And then you're basically shooting crawlers and soldiers along the way. You basically have increased damage as you're going on your way down, and targeting that helps you clean up all the enemies so you're not as easily taken out. So you're just kind of jumping as much as possible, thrusting whenever you get the chance to, and shooting stuff on your way down. The faster you go, the better. And try to stay as close to the center as possible because there are holes in the ground.
Yeah, don't fall in the holes.
Yeah, watch out for the holes. Once you get to the bottom, you fall through a couple different platforms, and I wish as much flack as Halo 4 got for the hold X to do action thing, I would have liked to see the little thruster animation be it where you were the one that activated the thruster. So you could have either just like went splat into the ground and respawned, or went back a checkpoint, or you could actually control the descent. I would have liked to see that.
I wanted a ground pound.
That would have worked too. But anyways, that's one of those moments where I think the quick time event actually would have been pretty applicable.
Yeah.
So, anyways. So once you get to the floor, like once you land on land, dropping out from who knows how high up, Locke is going to be trying to contact Chief over comms, kind of breaks through a little bit of interference and manages to hear the Chief be a little surprised, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And Locke is obviously trying to to kind of explain that they're there to help and try to get them back and figure out what's going on with Cortana and everything. And after just a short blip of being able to talk to Chief, they're jammed out again, and they meet a new little monitor friend, Exuberant Witness. And she talks to Fireteam Osiris and asking them if they're also there to stop Cortana from seizing the mantle of responsibility, and kind of explains what that entails, which is a forced peace among the galaxy, which is kind of frightening if you think about it. So
yes, very.
So Exuberant kind of dives a little bit of details on what Cortana is trying to do, and the story unfolds a little bit more along the way. And this is really where you really start to understand what the intent of the story is for Halo. And it's kind of late in the game, really, because this is the third to last mission out of, in my mind, technically 12 missions, not counting the hub missions. It just seems late in the game to really start exploring the main reason for the campaign storyline.
Yeah, it's one of those deals that the campaign didn't go where I think anybody expected it to. And to get to this point and finally start getting into the meat of the story is a little disappointing. It's a good story.
I mean, it's a lot better than Halo 4, right? It just is one of those things where the mounting up to the climax was kind of delayed on so long. And there's also the fact that the promotion stuff for the campaign didn't match up with the campaign storyline much at all. So that's another detriment to it as well. But it did seem like once we got to this point, there was just a little too much held back. I mean, there is somewhat of a progression in there. It just seems like there was a lot they stuffed into these last 3 missions that I think could have been a little bit more spaced out, but that's just my opinion.
Well, from the way they advertised the campaign, this would be about the time I would see Spartan Locke turning to ally with Chief at this point in the game.
True, yeah.
But seeing we didn't really get that back and forth, this is probably where I expected the story to really ramp up. And you start filling in a lot of gaps that have been open throughout the rest of the campaign. But this is pretty much where Cortana's story really gets rolling. I mean, yeah, there's been little bits and pieces, but they haven't really focused on it that much.
Well, and then, who was it? Pin said in the chat that it really felt to him more like a setup for the next game.
Yes. Oh, it was definitely a setup for the next game.
And at least with Halo 5, they did a better job pretty much in all the areas of Halo. It's still, from the story perspective, it still feels like it's lacking a little bit.
Yeah,
but as far as 343's stories have gone so far, it's one of the better ones yet. It's still just, for the Halo franchise, it's I think for most people it's kind of a little underwhelming. But it's still good to see them progress from Halo 4, which relied so much on the external fiction, and at least you had a little bit more contained story in Halo 5.
I mean, I like the story that they tell in Halo 5, and I like the story they told in Halo 4 as well. And I tend to look at it a little differently than most people, because reading the books and doing the extended fiction can kind of color how you perceive a video game story. I'm not saying that. I am saying they did leave us a little short on the story in the campaign, but a lot of people that read the extended fiction wanted a lot more than they would typically put in a video game story. So whenever you're thinking about that, you kind of got to weigh the two. You're used to reading all this fiction where you have this 500 or 300 page novel where you can get a lot of description, you can get a lot of story depth, and then you're comparing it to the story you get in a video game, which is more about playing the game and telling a story than it is just telling the story.
True. Very true.
But overall, I think they did a really good job on the story. It was not what we expected, so
right. Griffith actually made a pretty good point in the chat too. He said he thought the gameplay was the best so far for the campaign, but the story was still kind of not as thorough and full as he would have expected it, which I can kind of agree with. Just from the mechanics of Halo 5, the fluidity of the gameplay was done very well. I think some of the boss battles still need a little bit better.
Warden.
Yeah. Let's just throw... Okay, first boss battle, 1 warden. Okay, next big boss battle, 2 wardens. Okay, next one, 3 wardens. Come on, give us a little bit of variety here.
And then we'll make it to where you can skip the 3 warden one. Oh.
Well, yeah, that was a speedrunning thing. It wasn't necessarily supposed to happen that way, but yeah.
Oh, come on. You know they put it in there.
I mean, I guess they could have, but it might be one of those things where they made it that way and they're like, you can actually get up here. We'll leave it. See if anyone figures it out.
You do it to do the trick. You've got to do it right or you miss.
Right. It's not the simplest thing to do, but it's not incredibly difficult either.
No, it's not incredibly difficult, but you just barely make the platform. It's not like you land in the middle of the platform. You just barely catch the edge of it.
Right.
Even when you do it right. So I'm guessing they spent a lot of time placing that platform.
That's possible. Very possible.
Because, I mean, really, a speedrunner's nightmare is 3 bosses.
Yeah. Especially 3 very annoying bosses on Legendary.
True.
Anyways. So, Exuberant Witness is kind of detailing what's going on, what Cortana is up to, and we are on this little elevator thing. We're going down, and then Exuberant gives us a little gift that she found that got brought along with one of the guardians, and it's a scorpion. So you get to play with some big toys to start off with.
She's my kind of monitor. She gives us tanks.
Yeah, first we had Johnson giving us tanks, and now we have monitors giving us tanks.
Yay! And insurgents. This first area is pretty important when it comes to achievement hunting.
And why would that be?
Well, the first thing you need to do is take very good care of the scorpion. If you're playing on, especially if you're playing on Legendary, and pay attention to your checkpoints, because you need to get that tank all the way to the end of the driving portion of the level without it blowing up. But you do have a little help. If you have 3 buddies playing with you, or you can do this with AI, I found out. It's just it takes a little bit more maneuvering. This is the achievement, a place where you get the achievement Rolling Thunder, which means in co-op mode, you operate 4 separate vehicles. In other words, each Spartan is in his own vehicle.
Oh, you can get that with AI?
Then, yeah.
Huh.
It's a little tricky to get the AI into the separate vehicles, but I watched a video where a guy got the achievement with the AI. I would do it the easy way and just get 3 of your friends together and go jump in 4 vehicles. The other one is tank still beats everything, which is you basically need to make the tank survive clear to the end of the driving portion of the level. And you can get the tank past that if it survives.
And we'll get to that point when we get there.
But also, in this very first area, if you pay attention, you have 2 ghosts that will be unoccupied right off the bat. A little further down the path, there's an Ultra Ghost. It will be usually crewed by an elite, so you will have to jack it. And then there is also an Ultra Wraith on this level a little bit further down the road. So right now, if you're going for that tank beats everything achievement, this is where you need to start planning for it. Pay attention to the tank's health and watch the checkpoints. If the tank does get destroyed, immediately revert to the last checkpoint, or if the tank takes a lot of damage. So just tips on getting through that and still getting your achievement.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing here, right when you get the tank as well, since I like to point these out, is your first piece of intel for this mission. So is
there a piece of intel there?
Yes, there is.
Oh, would it be like right next to the ghosts?
Oh, it might just be right next to the ghost.
Amazing.
I know, right? They put it in such nice places. Get it? Halo 2 reference? No? Dang it. Okay, never mind. I'll lock myself out. So yeah, there's a
sorry, that one went over my head for some reason.
yeah. The first piece of intel is just after you round the first corner, after you start getting on to the dirt path, right after you get the tank. So it might be something that if you're not playing on Legendary, you could probably just go walk up and grab it and then come back to the Scorpion. And then have a couple people grab ghosts. Or if you're going on as a team, just have one person go over and grab the intel while the rest are piling on top of the Scorpion. And as you're going up there, just make sure, like GT said, make sure you avoid the Ultra Ghosts and a couple other piloted ghosts as well. You will have to jack them since you don't have plasma pistols yet. There is a splinter turret on the bridge that you'll be going across if you feel inclined to pick that up. As you start heading over the bridge, you'll see Prometheans spawning in, along with Covenant that have already been dropped off from drop ships. There is a couple of focus turrets. I think there's 2 or 3 of them in this section. Just keep an eye out for those. After you cross the bridge, on the left-hand side, there's going to be a couple of plasma casters. And if you keep on hanging towards your left, after you take out some of the enemies, there's going to be your second piece of intel, and then the Light of Ur's fuel rod cannon. Yes, RQB, that was a reference. Way to go. So
yeah, I remember it. Yes, the light are anyway. It's a legendary weapon.
Words are hard.
Yes, it has a higher fire rate than the standard fuel rod cannon, if I remember correctly.
I think it was higher rate of fire and did it have a bigger round? No, just a higher rate of fire.
Yeah, it's just a higher rate of fire.
Right. It's still really handy.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle York, that was perfect. He just shared a picture of Johnson.
Yeah, I see
the Johnson quote from I think it was this may have been the legendary quote with the tank when they dropped off the tank on Metropolis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was good. That was a good one.
No,
York.
I think that was that in Halo 2 or was that
it was Halo 2.
The original Halo on the opening scene?
Nope, that was Halo 2.
Okay.
Because he's talking about the tank.
I remember the quote.
Yeah, he was talking about the tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Metropolis. So Light of Ur's.
And we shared the rock.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And we had to share the rock. Yeah, okay, heroic. Anyways, we got a busy chat tonight. I like this. I really like this.
Definitely.
There is an empty Ghost Ultra up on the left. If you keep on the left-hand side as well, basically all the nice stuff is on the left-hand side. That's probably the way you should go. It offers the most cover from a lot of the other enemies as well. There's also another piece of intel up on top of one of the, kind of the rock ledges. Easiest way to get up there is either watch our guide on our channel, or if you, right after you get the second piece of intel, you can kind of clamber up on some rocks, and there's kind of a pathway carved out that you can keep on hopping up and over, and eventually you'll come across a constructor that's the third piece of intel. And judging on how you clamber up some of the rocks, you may have to jump down to get to it. But once you get close to it, you'll see some fuel rods. Once you see those, you know you're on the right track and it's close by. And there's also a plasma caster there as well. Once you clear out all the enemies, Exuberant Witness will open the door to the next area. And hopefully by this point, you're still keeping your tank. And you, like GT said, you should, if you're going for it, you could have probably gotten Rolling Thunder by now.
No. The Rolling Thunder, you have to make it all the way to the end. Or where they actually tell you to get out of the vehicles.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought it was just
yes.
Get in. Okay.
No, you've got to make it pretty much all the way through the level up to where you face the Warden for the first time.
Okay.
In the level, not in the game.
I thought you just had to have the members just piling 4 separate vehicles at some point in the mission.
For Rolling Thunder, yes. Sorry.
That's what I'm talking about.
Once you get each person into their own vehicle, it will pop. I'm sorry, I got confused with the other.
Tank still beats everything?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice thing is once you walk through these doors, if you look to your right, there's a brand new Ultra Wraith sitting there.
Yes, there is. Nice, fresh, and pristine for you. So this next area, you actually learn a little bit more about what the mantle of responsibility is, and you learn that Cortana has been having Blue Team basically on a wild goose chase. She's been obviously preparing for stuff, which I mean we know of by the time we get to the end of the mission. But Exuberant comes over the intercoms and basically says that she's been stalling. Cortana's been stalling Blue Team and trying to get them to come to the gateway. And she explains that the gateway is a kind of merges the realm between the digital and the physical world. So there is a that's going to obviously play pertinent a little bit later on, but you're starting to understand a little bit more of what's going on and figuring out what Cortana is doing here. So a little bit more lore in that part. Once you get through the doors, though, and just a little bit past the Wraith Ultra, you're going to find a downed Pelican, and by the Pelican there is a nice set of rocket launchers. There's 4 of them there. And then there's your 4th piece of intel as well. And there's some other power weapons there amongst the rubble of the ship. I think there's some BR ammo, AR ammo, probably a couple, I think, other little weapons that you could pick up. Just lots of stuff to replenish ammo with. But the rocket launchers are definitely useful on Legendary. So I would recommend picking those up if you have the chance.
Most definitely.
Once you get past the first set of vehicles, I believe it's 1 Wraith that will be coming out along with a couple of Ghosts. You'll see a focus turret and a couple of Knights. And if you stick to the left, there's a theme kind of going on here. You can make your way up and find another legendary weapon, which is the Spitfire Plasma Pistol. I believe the Spitfire is the one where you can hold it indefinitely without losing a charge, and the cool off is faster.
I think so.
I believe that's it. It's not overly useful in my opinion. It's useful if you decide to just zap all the vehicles to kind of stall them out.
It overcharges faster and it does not overheat.
Right. So I mean that's there if you want it. I don't think it's a huge benefit to getting it. I think the rocket launchers, and then over by where the Spitfire is, there's a little kind of Forerunner outlook thing. There's a fuel rod cannon and a sniper rifle there, along with your 5th piece of intel. I think those weapons are a lot more useful. That's just me, though.
Yeah, but it's fun to play with.
Yeah, if you haven't played with it before, grab it, use it. But it's one of those legendaries where you could easily pass that up and not really lose any benefit, I think.
Yeah, I think that I've only went over just to look for it once.
Yep. I did it just to do like a legendary weapon video, which I actually never got around to making. I got all the intel guides done, just not the legendary weapons. So there's that over there. Kind of, yeah, the theme is just kind of stick to the left. That's kind of how it's been so far.
Left, 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 right, left.
If you stay to the left, though, you'll be able to go over the bridge. And I like that route as well because once you're on the bridge, you actually have a decent vantage point to the knights that are kind of spawning all the way in the distance, and also the focus turrets that are up there. And it also gives you a little bit easier spot to back up and get some cover very quickly.
Yeah, because there's a Wraith that likes to come right underneath that bridge.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
So there's a Wraith that comes under it when you're first kind of approaching it. If you're staying back on Legendary, it'll eventually come out to the point where you can destroy it before approaching it.
I just charge right in with both barrels.
Nice. There is another Wraith, though, that is on the other side fighting or trying to fight one of the Phaetons and also some of the other Knights that are around there. So there's that one, too, to be mindful of as well. Once you get up to the bridge, though, the Wraith is usually trying to hide around the rock and focus on those Knights. So while you're on that bridge, you're mostly going to be focusing on the focus turrets and the Knights that are spawning all the way off in the distance. And you might be able to get an angle on the Phaeton depending on how far out it comes, but I found that you usually have to try to go out into the next section where you're a little bit more exposed before you actually get a decent angle on it. As you cross the bridge, if that's the route that you decide to take, there's a little rock formation that kind of goes up just as you get to the end. If you hop on top of there, that's going to be your 6th piece of intel to grab. There's also a focus turret just on the other side as well, so be careful for that as you're approaching. Going down the ramp, and just be very careful about sticking your head out and getting shots. If you're on legendary, there's going to be a lot of moving forward, sticking your head out, getting a couple shots off, and getting back to not take too much damage, especially if you're going to get the tank beats everything achievement. So be mindful of that.
That's where it's handy to have co-op partners because they can be bait.
Yeah, that too, especially if they're the AI. Especially if they're the AI.
The AI makes good bait.
That's really what they're good for. Yeah. So there's another piece of intel after you kind of clean up everything as well. There's Phaeton. There's a slew of knights. I don't remember how many knights there are, but there's probably at least like 5 or 6 that you're going to be fighting off. So there's
a lot.
Yeah. So just be careful of that. If you have someone in the Ultra Wraith still, that'll be useful to lob over, and then you can have your friend in the tank kind of help you judge how much of an arc you need to correct. So that's another strategy you can use as well. Have the Ultra Wraith, the one being shooting, and then kind of have someone else kind of scout ahead and help you judge the arc of your shots. That's really helpful. After you clear out everything, right before you get down to the next bridge, there's a Spartan laser that you can pick up just kind of underneath where the Phaeton was likely hovering around. And there'll actually be a little dirt path leading up to an overlook for the next area. There's the piece of intel up there and the Spartan laser, which will actually be handy if you want to pick that up and use it against the Warden in the final area. It's good to pick up just in case you need it. Anything else, GT? Did I miss anything for this section? I think that's pretty much
no, you covered it all.
Okay. So after you take out that slew of enemies, probably one of the more long and drawn out parts of this mission, except for the last part. You're going to head on down. Exuberant Witness is going to see that one of her bridges is out and going to activate the bridge for you because she's that nice. One of the things that I forgot to mention earlier too, in the section of when we first met Exuberant Witness, and then right after she opened the first door for us, is she's also explaining how Cortana has blocked off some of her access. Cortana and the Warden have taken some control over the installation from her, but she's
really irritated about it.
Not too much at this point. She's like kind of frustrated, but it hasn't gotten to like the point where she's overly mad and upset, which we'll find out a little bit later.
Irritated.
Yeah. I see that Shadow Slayer and Spartan. We'll wrap it up here soon. I know people want to start playing Halo. So after you get to the bridge part, Exuberant Witness is going to activate the bridge for you, and just as you cross, Warden is going to spawn along with a couple of focus turrets. My suggestion would be take out the focus turrets first, and then focus on the Warden. The Warden is pretty easy to take out if you keep your distance with the tank. He is going to shoot his little laser eyes at you and stall your tank. So if you are playing with friends, it is very important to keep those extra vehicles alive if possible. That way you can just keep on bombarding him if he zaps one of your teammates. And he's not too difficult to take out in this part.
No, not with the vehicles.
Next part without the vehicles is rather difficult, but as long as you keep your distance, you're okay. While you're fighting the Warden as well, there's a little dialogue between Exuberant Witness and Warden, and Exuberant Witness is trying to figure out why Warden is letting Cortana do what she's doing, why he's letting an Ancilla take control of, or another Ancilla really kind of take control of the facility and seek the mantle. And she says it's not protocol. And Warden is on the other side, is like, why are you interfering? This is how it's supposed to be, type of thing. So there's obviously some kind of conflict going on between Warden Eternal and Exuberant Witness on what's really supposed to be happening, what Cortana is doing, and all that stuff. And we'll actually learn about that a little bit more in the next mission and then the final mission. So there's a little dialogue there. Depending on how fast you take out Warden, there's some extra dialogue that kind of extends that conversation between Exuberant Witness and the Warden. And it really starts to make you think about what is it that Cortana's doing? Like, what does she get access to at this point? Exuberant Witness is saying it's not protocol. And then from Halo 4, we heard from the librarian that she set this path for humanity to reclaim the mantle. And now we have Warden saying that Cortana is supposed to be the one who has been deemed all along to be reclaiming the Forerunner mantle, responsibility, and all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. So we're really starting to get our heads turning on what is really going on, like what the deeper meaning behind the Halo 5 story actually is. So that's pretty interesting stuff there. And we'll have a little more dialogue. I think that's most. Yeah, that's most of the lore stuff for this mission. There's still a couple other things at the end between you and the Warden. But before we get there, you have a couple other pieces of intel to grab in this area. So after you take out the Warden, backtrack a little bit and take the pathway from your left. You'll go up, you'll see a Dead Elite with a sword, and on the rock behind them, you'll find your 8th piece of intel. Then if you head back on down to the pathway where you're supposed to go, there's actually another little Forerunner outlook thing, and that is where you can find your 9th piece of intel along with a sniper rifle. There's also a skull that you can get for this mission. It is, which skull is it? Is it the Iron Skull? Shoot, I forget which one it is.
It is
the Tilt Skull.
The Tilt Skull.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can find a Tilt Skull. It's a little hard to get up to this one. You have to be a little tricky with some of your jumps. So the little pathway that you have to go up to the right of where you first come across the bridge, you'll basically kind of go into just past the rock where it's supposed to be barricading you off and going on foot. And you just got to kind of find a way to clamber up to the very top. And once you get there, you should be able to find the skull.
And this is the point where you should get your tank beats everything achievement.
Right. But don't give up on the tank either, because you can get your tank past this area. It's possible.
And with a little work, you can get the Wraith past there too.
So the trick to doing that is you have to angle the Wraith and the tank in such a way that it gets the tread on the tank, or for lack of better words, the wings on the Wraith, up and over to tilt the vehicle to kind of roll sideways into the next area. The best place to do it is to have your treads or your wings clip the rocks on the left. So you're kind of angling yourself to the left of the entrance. And then once you start to kind of get that tilt, straighten out into the pathway, and then eventually you'll have your vehicle kind of slide against the wall on the right, but you'll continue to roll against the wall on the left, and then you'll be able to get yourself through. And there's a little stopper up closer to the top of the hill as well, and you can just, at least I know with the tank, you can just roll right on over that. I'm not sure exactly how you do that with the Wraith.
It's you got to wiggle it through. It's pain, but it can be done. It's a little bit more helpful if you can wiggle a ghost up there too, because you can kind of use the ghost as a ramp to help get the Wraith over.
That makes sense, yeah. And then you can just boost the Wraith over the ghost.
And then we come to my favorite weapon.
Yes.
A pair of them, actually.
Yes, one of my favorites as well. Right before the final battle, before you get to the final bridge, there's another downed Pelican, and they're amongst the rubble and amongst the other weapons that you can get to resupply your DMR, BR, whatever. There is a pair of answers, which is so useful on Legendary.
Oh, yes.
So useful. You'll expend all your ammo using them, but you'll do some major damage to Warden with those answers.
Oh, they just wreck everything.
Best weapon.
You get a pair of those on a Warden, he just melts.
Best weapon. Hands down. I'm calling it. Best weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you pick up those, especially if you're going in solo, have your AIs pick them up and then have them kind of attack some of the closer enemies. And if you're in the tank, just take long shots at the warden. If you stay back far enough, you will be able to just take out the warden using your tank.
Yeah, both of them.
Mm-hmm. Because there's a certain point that the warden won't come closer to you. So if you're staying down on the dirt floor and you're sniping the warden with a tank, there will be some times when he gets behind an area which is not visible, and at that point you just kind of need to meander your way up there to try to get an angle and have him kind of come back out. There are soldiers and knights, watchers, crawlers that do spawn along with focus turrets, so just kind of be mindful. As the battle goes on, he spawns in additional enemies to fight alongside him. So as you're fighting off, just be mindful of those spawning in and take those out whenever you see them pop up. Just focus on getting rid of those before continuing on fighting the warden. Unfortunately, at this part of the podcast, my audio software decided to stop recording my microphone, so we had to pull the Twitch audio. So the last 20 minutes or so of the podcast, unfortunately, is going to be a little lesser quality. Sorry for the issue, everybody. Hopefully, we'll have it resolved next time. Anyways, here it is to resume the podcast. If you decide to not go the tank route, definitely recommend the answers. And there are a few power weapons in that final area that will be very useful to use. So there's a pair of binary rifles about midfield, so to speak, that you can pick up. And then on one of the little side platforms closer to the middle, there's a pair of incineration cannons as well that you can use. And again, use your AI to run distractions for the warden to get him to turn his back to you so you can get his little core, because that's where you're going to be able to do the most damage to him.
Most damage quickly.
Yes. Much damage. Much damage. And that's it. You got to get rid of those two wardens, and actually before you end the mission, before you go into the door, there is one final piece of intel, your 10th piece of intel, and once you take out both the wardens, just keep hanging to the left, keeping on with that left theme, and once you get to the top, you'll see a little Forerunner console. Activate that, and you'll find your final piece of intel for this mission. And after this, you meet up with Blue Team. You actually meet up with them, which is cool. Here you run into Chief. They turn around, all surprised, and Locke is running up to him, weapons down with his hand out, and saying, "Wait, Cortana is doing bad things, and that they're just there to help." And Chief turns around and he says he knows that he's bad, and Locke is trying to convince Chief that he doesn't need to do this alone, that they're there to help. And before Chief has a chance to respond, there's a nice little awkward pause, and Cortana says that they're too late. And before they get zapped away, Chief tries to talk Cortana out of doing whatever she's about to do, and she zaps them away. And that's it. Dun, dun, dun.
Put it into a level.
Yeah. The climax is coming. Wow, that was a poor choice of words. That was a really poor choice of words. I'm sorry. I think that's where we're going to end it tonight, just because we have been running a little bit long on the show. So we will try to get through the next few campaigns as quickly as possible, because we know Lord needs to be discussed, and we want to get there. We need to get there. And we need to get ahead of so many other things happening as well, because Halo Wars 2 is probably going to be coming out with news pretty soon. Probably E3, see some reveal on that. And
I can't wait.
Yeah. And we also have Memories of Reach update coming out soon, possibly next week. And then we have one more update after that. And yeah, so we might have a little bit here after like the planned content for Halo 5 to really dive into some lore stuff. At least that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Yes, Sonic, we will be doing Fragging Fridays right after this. It'll probably be a little shortened version of it, but we will be hopping on to some Halo right after we're done with this on Twitch. Yeah, York, I'm actually working with GameDude to get my achievements, so if you want to ever team up and get achievements done, actually, I guess that kind of goes for everybody. If we need achievements, we can play an achievement night. Because I still need Halo Wars achievements. I actually still have 5 Halo 3 achievements I need to get. All, of course, FFAs, which are going to suck.
Yeah.
Just need to find people of similar skill, and we all need to go into matchmaking at the same time.
Unlike a Wednesday night.
Or just
yeah,
like,
I still have some Reach achievements and some Halo 4 achievements that I need to get.
I think I'm 100% on Reach and either 100% or I'm one off of Halo 4. I think I have all of Halo 4 though.
Yeah, the only ones I need on those two games are the DLC achievements.
The one that's on the space one on Reach that I can never remember the name of, that begins with a C. Anyways, that one, because it's the CTF one, that one's always hard to get because you're reliant on matchmaking giving you a CTF map.
Yeah. And that's the problem. I just don't get the maps or the game types that I need to complete the achievements.
Apparently, one way to force the game to give it to you is you delete all the DLC packs except for the DLC pack that has that map.
Yeah. I tried that, and then I'd get the map, I wouldn't get the game type.
Oh. Yeah, that'll just be a weekend of just grinding it out.
Yeah.
Sadly.
I have so many of those. Too busy playing Halo 5.
Yeah.
I gotta earn that rec so I can do my rec pack opening videos.
Oh.
Speaking of which, my last one, I got 5 certifications. 3 of them are meaningless. I mean, they're mongooses, 2 different mongoose ones, and I think a warthog one.
Got it.
And I can't remember what the other ones were.
Okay.
But anyway, making progress.
Cool. Alrighty. So that's going to be wrapping it up for the episode this week. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Seeing a couple new faces in the Twitch chat, which is always good. For those of you who are interested, we normally record our shows on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. We changed it up a little bit this week because I was helping a friend paint a house that they just bought, and I couldn't make it in last night. It took way longer than I anticipated, so my bad. So we decided to do it in place of Frackin' Fridays this week. So sorry for the slight delay on that one, but we'll still get the podcast out here this weekend. Make sure you check us out, though. We are on Twitch. You can find us over at podtacular.com/Twitch or twitch.tv/podtacular, whichever one is your preference. And then we also play on Tuesdays, Wednesdays for Tactical Tuesday and Warzone Wednesdays, which are both at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And those are Spartan Company events, which we still have some slots if you're interested in joining our Spartan Company. We currently have 13 out of the 31 kill commendations for our company to get the Achilles armor. So we are making some pretty good progress on that. I think last month, or maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago, we were only at 1. So people have been grinding the heck out of commendations. So huge shout outs to those guys for really putting in some time and effort to getting those commendations done. The biggest one that we have to work on is first strikes. So that's the one that we have the biggest deficit on to get the Achilles. So just keep on playing and aim for first strikes. Obviously, if you want to grind out the ones that are quick and short game modes are the easiest ones to get them out done quickly. SWAT's a good one, I think. That's my personal favorite. Breakout, do they do first strikes for every round? Or is it just
No, it's just the game.
The very first one, yeah. So SWAT might be a good option. At least I that's kind of my thoughts on it. And yeah, so that's our biggest deficit right now. If you want to start working on those, focusing on those, that would be the best one to work on. The special playlist, the feature playlist that we get this week, I believe, is SWAT FFA. So
yeah, I haven't been brave enough to try that one yet.
Well, it just popped up today, so I haven't had a chance to really try it either. That is going to be interesting, I think. 6 players, I think it is, similar to FFA normal. So check that out for this weekend. Hopefully everyone had fun with Super Fiesta, because that is now gone. I got all my weapon combinations done except for one, except for Bolt Shot.
I've gotten all of them to level 5. I think I have 7 to complete level 5 on.
Nice. That's pretty good progress right there.
Yeah, considering most of them were at level 2, level 1 when I started.
Nice.
The oddball weapons like Spanker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had no spanker kills because I hadn't even unlocked one in Warzone yet, and it wasn't on any of the maps I was playing. Well, when you play SWAT, it just
yeah.
But yeah, I really cranked out a lot of combinations.
Yeah.
Same thing when Firefight was rolling. I went through so many enemy commendations. It wasn't even funny.
I'm waiting for Firefight to come back so I can finish out my enemy commendations. I did not even think about the enemy commendations when Firefight came out. But yeah, it'll be coming at some point. It'll probably be in the June update. So that'll be nice.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. It's really going to be interesting to see what the content schedule is going to be after June.
Well, hopefully we get some type of monthly update.
Well, there'll always be tweaks and fixes, but in terms of major content, I doubt we're going to see many more maps. I doubt we're going to see too many new REQs. I would assume we'll see some REQs, but I wouldn't assume we'll see too many.
I think their biggest focus is going to be weapon tweaking and Forge.
Forge will be huge. Game modes will be huge, I think, because Race is still supposed to be coming. They've said that was supposed to be, that's going to be there, and we're still waiting on that. And, I mean, they've obviously been listening to community feedback, so I'm assuming that, or at least I'm hoping, we'll get the same kind of attention that we've had for updates to the game post the content release schedule as we're seeing now. That's my hope.
And maybe they come up with some type of expanded content. I mean, with developing the game types, I hope they continue working on that, adding more and more game types.
Yeah.
And
King of the Hill territories, some of the other classic ones.
Because that will I think that'll just get them money ahead for Halo 6, because they'll have these game types already developed for this engine.
That's a good point. If they can launch Halo 6 with a solid lineup of game modes and maps that aren't Forge and maps that are unique and a variety of palettes, not mostly UNSC palettes, I think there's a better chance for Halo 6 to do well.
Yeah. Like I said, after they get their planned content out, I think they need to start working on content that they want to launch with Halo 6 and get Halo 5 up to speed when it comes to game types. Because this launching with just a minimal amount of game types, it can't happen again.
Yeah, 3 doesn't cut it.
That
doesn't cut it.
The Halo 6 needs to launch with all the game types, at least all the traditional game types, and it needs to launch with Forge.
Yep. Anywho, so yeah, after that random tangent, check us out on Twitch, and then Fridays we do Fraggin' Fridays, hosted by Mr. DT himself. That is done at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. And depending on some of the stuff that comes out in terms of featured playlists or content updates, we usually try to focus it around Customs Night, but we'll be flexible to doing anything that's special in the playlist or whatever is going on with content updates. So check that out every Friday. And if you have any recommendations for maps, make sure you send them over to GT so he can get them preloaded for the night. And since we have File Browser, send him links.
Yes.
Yay. And then he'll be able to bookmark them.
Yes, and then I can fix it to where I can actually use the game types.
Yes.
Without doing the monkey see, monkey do dance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. That's going to wrap it up for us. Make sure you check out our podcast network. We are part of a conglomerate of podcasts that are mostly gaming specific, including Critscast, which is a TF2 and Overwatch podcast, which, if you don't know, the Overwatch beta is happening this weekend, the open beta. So if you haven't already, download it and check it out on your consoles and on PC if you are a PC player. There is also Guardian Radio, which is the Destiny podcast. There is The Learning Cliff, which is an EVE Online podcast. And then How to Murder Time, which has been coming out with a Work in Progress, actually, has been the one that's been coming out with... They've had a Minecraft show that's been going on for the past couple of months, and I think they're on episode 23, so it's Minecraft related. And then there is How to Murder Time, which is the other podcast on the network. So make sure you check them out. You can find them over at podka.st. and just let them know that we sent you and check out their shows. We will be back again next week on Thursday, hopefully, without any other delays. And we'll be talking about hopefully some Memories of Reach content, if it does indeed come out next week, and working our way towards finishing up the campaign as well, and possibly getting some more details on the Halo Pro League. So we obviously have the online invitational that's happening this weekend, so we'll talk through some of the results of that, and of course walk through any other information that we get throughout the week of Halo content. So thanks everyone for tuning in on the Twitch channel, and thank you for downloading the show. We will see you guys next week, and until then, keep on fragging Warden.